Hello, everybody. I am Susan Stone, and I am one of the instructors with the UVA Mindfulness Center. We are meeting here and filming here today at a place to breathe in Ivy Commons in Charlottesville, Virginia. And this is the venue for our core course at the Mindfulness Center. And our core course is called Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, MBSR. We teach other courses as well, but as I said, this one is the central course. And it is open not only to UVA faculty, staff, and students, but it's also open to the greater community. And I'll be talking more about MBSR in a little while. But right now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about mindfulness and the practice of mindfulness that we focus on. Mindfulness is something that is really getting very, very popular these days. It's taking off like a house on fire. Mindfulness is being taught in universities and hospitals. It's being taught in middle schools, prisons, business schools, in the workplace, even in the military. And you might say, why is that? Why is mindfulness so popular these days? And the short answer is because it works. Mindfulness is a practice that enables us and empowers us to really live more sanely, to make better decisions, to manage our anger and our anxiety, to manage our stress, and simply to live in a more calmer way. So mindfulness, and this is being shown increasingly by research, as well as countless individuals who over the long time have been practicing mindfulness. This is what they found. So, okay, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is about being present in the present moment, about bringing your body and your mind together in the same place at the same time, with kindness and without judgment. Maybe that sounds kind of simple, being together, same place, same time, but when you start to think about it, it really isn't easy. Simple maybe, but not easy. And the reason why being mindful isn't so easy, it's because our life has been lived in another way. What we generally do is we live behind a veil of thoughts, this constant chatter, I'm sure you've noticed, a constant chatter that goes on in our mind with our ideas and our opinions and our likes and our dislikes over and over again. This is what goes through our mind, whatever we're doing. Oh, I like this, I don't like that. We go toward what we like, we go away from what we don't like. What's the problem with that? Well, the problem is, when we're doing that, we're living through thoughts. We're living through our ideas and our opinions, as opposed to living right now in the present moment. And of course, the present moment is the only place where our life unfolds. What we often do, what we usually do, in fact, is we live in the past and we get concerned about things that happened in the past, the pains, the suffering, what we should have done, what we didn't do, what we should have done and wish we had, what other people have done, things that are painful, or maybe sometimes things that are very pleasurable. We also live in the future, and that is often expresses as worries. Oh, how am I going to do this? Or what's this going to happen? And so forth. The past, the future. But the fact is our life only unfolds right now in the present. So when we are living, when our thoughts are tied in with the future, are thinking about the future, are tied in with the past and worrying about it, we're carrying a really heavy load, like a heavy sack that we're carrying on our back. It's a heavy load. We walk through life with this heavy sack. Mindfulness teaches a different way of being. And that is, it shows us how we can begin to drop that heavy burden that we're carrying. That's not about forgetting, not at all. but to recognize when we have been hijacked and just thinking over and over the same things and don't need to be. This is what we learn through mindfulness. And as I said, it really does work. And I'll just tell you one story from a class. A student, a participant in the class, told us a story. She told it to the class. And she said that she had a teenage daughter and who had just learned to drive. And the girl came home and she told her mother that she'd just gotten a traffic ticket. And the mother said, okay, all right, we can deal with this. This isn't so bad. We can handle this. And the participant, the student, said, usually she would have just gotten really upset. So as she was trying to soothe her daughter, calm her daughter, because the daughter was upset, the daughter turned to her mother and she said, Mom, is that you talking? And then as they were talking right in the middle of this conversation, the husband came home, the girl's father. And the student, the participant, the mother said, okay, wait right here. I'll go talk to him. I'll meet him at the door. So she did. She met him at the door, and she said, now, she's just gotten a ticket. Now, this isn't so bad. We can handle this. We don't have to get her even more upset. She's really upset now, so let's just be really calm about this. And he said, honey, is that you talking? And she was just delighted. She was able to respond in a totally different way than she usually does. So mindfulness. Mindfulness enables us to change behaviors from unwholesome, reflexive, unthought ways of responding to adopting more wholesome ways of responding. We do it intentionally. We do it mindfully. Now, mindfulness is a practice. It doesn't happen all by itself. It has to be done with practice, and I'm going to be talking a little bit later about what that practice is. But it does need to be done with a lot of practice, because it's like playing, as I always say, playing a musical instrument or a sport. You're not going to learn how to swim or to play the piano by watching somebody else do it, or by reading about it, or even by listening to a lot of beautiful music. You've got to practice, and you start with the scales. You start, if it's the piano or music, you start very, very simply. And it's a whole different kind of learning than what we are used to. When we think of learning, we usually think about cognitive, putting something in the mind, learning something new, and we memorize. But with mindfulness, it doesn't work like that. With mindfulness, you have to simply do it over and over because you are training your mind in a different way. You are expanding your awareness in a new way to recognize more concretely what it is you're doing in this moment that maybe you weren't fully aware of before. So now, enough words about what mindfulness is. And what I would like to do right now is to share with you the practice of mindfulness. Right now, we're going to share a mindfulness exercise. I'm going to invite you, and this will last for about 20 minutes. I'm going to invite you to take some time to go into a place, maybe in your house, where you will know that you're going to be uninterrupted for 20 minutes. That means letting your family know, means powering down your cell phone, might mean not letting the cat or the dog in your room. You don't want them jumping into your lap while you're doing this. In other words, a time simply to relax and to be present without distraction. Granted, this is a fairly unusual activity in most of our lives, and yet this is how we begin with mindfulness practice. Eventually, we learn to practice and be mindful right in the midst of the hubbub of life. But we start by practicing and relaxing into the quietness of what is in the present moment with as few distractions as possible. So taking a position, I'm going to assume you are in a place where you can be for 20 minutes, taking a position that's comfortable, either sitting down or lying down if that's comfortable for you, but a position that you won't have to move a lot, a position that you can maintain for, say, 20 minutes or so. And now I invite you to close your eyes either entirely, or if it's more comfortable for you, it's fine to just close your eyes and let a little fringe of light come through. Either way. Now, relaxing right now, and allowing your attention to move into your body. I'm going to invite you to notice right now in your body, what is the experience of your aliveness? What is the experience of your aliveness right at this moment? When I say aliveness, I mean the physical sensations in your body. Allowing yourself for right now to let go of worries, concerns, angers, fears, anxieties, if you can. Dropping out of what the issues that are facing you in the moment, and instead exploring what's happening, what's true in your body. And I mean the physical sensations in your body. This doesn't have to be a big existential exploration. Get simple. Just relax and notice. Oh, maybe you notice that your jaws are a little tight. Or maybe you notice, oh, there's a tightness, a constriction in my belly. Maybe you don't notice any of that. Maybe you don't notice anything. Maybe you don't feel whatever is happening in your body. Not to worry. Just explore. Notice what you can notice and relax. Relaxing. Now allowing your attention to move from your aliveness in this moment to a very specific place in your body, and that is your feet. Taking your attention to your feet. Noticing, what is it that your feet right now are experiencing? As you could even call it, the truth of your feet. What are your feet touching? If you're sitting in a chair, it might be, well, your feet are flat on the floor. They're touching the floor, and maybe you have shoes or socks, or shoes and socks on. Noticing the touch of the shoes, the socks, and the firmness of the floor underneath it. Just being present with whatever is true right now for your feet. You might want to look particularly, explore. Notice, what is the experience of your right foot, right at the heel? Noticing the heel of your right foot. Is there tingling? Is there a comfortable sensation? Exploring. In mindfulness practice, we try to be as subtle as possible, to notice as much as we possibly can. Get subtle. What is your right heel experiencing? Now this might sound like, oh boy, this is boring, but trust me, it's significant. Your right heel. And now why not noticing? Notice the big toe on your right foot. What's its experience right now, in this moment? The big toe on your right foot. Again, if you're wearing shoes and socks, you might feel them. Notice what the feeling of that is. If your feet are on the floor, you can feel the support of the floor under them. Maybe you're lying down. Just notice what's true right now. And notice also, if you can, the place where the big toe touches the second toe. And moving your attention internally so that you notice any sensations in your right foot. And now moving up, allowing your attention to move up to the right ankle. Notice what's true right there, the touch of your clothing, your socks perhaps, maybe trousers if you're wearing them. Or maybe if you're wearing shorts, it's the touch of the air right there, maybe. Moving up, allowing your attention to move up to your right calf and your right shin. If at any moment during this body scan right now, if at any moment you notice that thoughts have come up, then just allow yourself for the moment to drop those thoughts. And by that I mean unhooking from the thoughts, whatever they may be. Our thoughts can get really juicy, feel very compelling. Can you, just for the moment, drop out of that thought, whatever it is? And by that means not adding another one to it. Allowing the thought to pass just like a leaf that is floating down the stream, and you're not trying to run down the stream with the leaf or jump into the stream, just letting it pass. And moving from your right shin and calf, move up the leg to your thigh, and noticing the touch right there of the thigh on the chair or the bed. And now let's move up even further. Move up to your pelvic girdle and noticing right now, what are the sensations there? Maybe there's discomfort. Maybe there's cramping. Maybe there's a sense of ease. It doesn't matter what you notice in a way. It's not about judging it, like, oh, I wish this weren't there, or how did this pain happen? It's just about being true. What's true right now in the pelvic girdle? And moving upward, let's move up a bit and move up to your chest. Noticing right now, right in the center of your chest, what are the sensations there? Sometimes here we can feel very tight, very heavy. Again, noticing what's true right there. For you, in this unique moment in your life. And once again, if thoughts arise, and of course thoughts do, that's just what the mind does. If thoughts arise at any time, or let's say when they arise, once again, this is a very special moment. When thoughts arise, noticing. Your noticing is your moment of mindfulness. You're being mindful when you notice, oh, I'm caught in thoughts, and I'm off in wherever, perhaps another state, maybe another place, maybe another time. Oh, thoughts have hijacked me. Allow yourself to drop those thoughts. Don't add another to it. You have had a moment of mindfulness, relaxing, and coming back very gently, very kindly when you can, bringing your attention back to your chest and the sensations you're experiencing there right now. And now, bringing your attention up to your jaws. Again, here's another place we can feel so tight. We can clench our jaws without even noticing. What's the truth of your jaws right now? Are they relaxed? Are they perhaps a little tight? Just noticing. And now I invite you to relax in a very particular place in your body, a very particular spot, and that is with your breath. Allowing the breath to become the anchor of your attention now for the next few minutes. Experiencing the breath. Experiencing the touch sensation of the breath as it flows in and as it flows out through the nasal passage. It's not thinking about your breath, but directly experiencing the truth of this breath. Can you feel the flow of air moving in and moving out? There are many ways of focusing on your breath. At this moment, I'm inviting you to stay right at the nose and the nasal passage. And just notice the inhale, the pause that happens as your breath transitions, the exhale, and the pause. Just gently relaxing with your own natural breath. Don't try to manipulate it. Don't try to calm it down or make it go faster or slower. Just noticing what's true. What's true with this breath right now? The inhale, the transition, the exhale, the transition. Your breath is a cycle. It has a cycle. And when we practice mindfulness of breathing, we simply rest with the cycle of each and every breath, noticing as much about this very breath as you can. The truth is, every breath is different, and your invitation is to notice closely. And again, at some point during the breath cycle, your mind is going to get into the act again. It likes to do that. It's natural. Again, the same guideline. Oh, thinking is happening. Just noticing. The moment you notice, again, you're being mindful. It's not a problem. It's not a failure. Just noticing where your attention really truly is. Oh, thoughts. And now you know the guideline. Don't add another thought to that train of thoughts. Allow the train of thoughts simply to pass by. As I said, leaf on a stream, cloud on the sky, in the sky, or like a car moving down the road, just letting it pass. And coming back very gently, very kindly to this breath. It's so simple. Just relaxing into the simplicity of it and breathing. You might want to notice the pace of this breath. What is the pace right now? Is it slow, or is it fast, or is it somewhere in between? What's the quality of this breath? Is it smooth and silky? Maybe it's a little ragged. Just noticing. There's nothing to do right now except to be present, to be mindful, with this really very sacred process of breathing, your own breath, your life, the breath of life. Right now, just breathing and being present. For some people who are mouth breathers, perhaps you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, or in and out through your mouth, then by all means, just notice your breath there. Don't try to change anything. This is about being natural, doing what you usually do. Noticing the breath. Right at the nose, the nasal passage. And right now what we're practicing is not going down into the lungs, but just being present right at the entrance. You might also want to notice the different experience of this breath in the right nostril and the left nostril. And this is getting subtle. Just noticing. Is there a difference? Explore. This is about exploring and finding out for yourself what's your truth right now. Just relaxing and being kind. Breathing just with an open, kindly acceptance of what's true in this moment with your breath. If by any chance focusing on your breath is problematic, is some kind of problem for you, and it can be, for example, if you've had a cold, or if you've ever had really, really a bad problem with your breath, like asthma or something, it's fine to focus on your breath elsewhere as well. You can explore. You might want to focus on your breath in your belly. If you're breathing a natural breath, then the belly muscles engage, the diaphragmatic breathing. And you'll notice that the belly muscles expand on the inhale and contract on the exhale like a bellows. Noticing that if you wish. This is your choice. Focusing where it's easy for you to focus. You don't have to make extra problems here. So maybe focusing on the breath in the belly feels natural to you. And if so, once again, simply allowing yourself to notice the inhale and exhale and the pace of the breath, all the details that we just mentioned. You might notice the feel, the touch of your clothing as you inhale and as you exhale. There's nothing to do right now, and nowhere you need to go in this moment. Just being present, being mindful of this breath. Noticing when thoughts arise and remembering the guideline. The noticing is your moment of mindfulness. And then simply not adding another thought to it, allowing it to pass by, the cloud in the sky. And some people will prefer perhaps to notice the breath. Notice the breath right in the chest, as though you were breathing through your heart. All of these are ways to practice mindfulness of the breath. It's about noticing where your attention is, deciding to use the breath as an anchor when thoughts come up, or in fact, if it's physical discomfort or sounds. None of this needs to distract your attention. Simply notice, being mindful, allowing them to pass, and by that I mean simply not focusing on it again and coming back gently to the breath. Your own natural breath, just relaxing, breathing gently. Coming back from this mindfulness of the breath, becoming present right now to the room where you are. And I'd like to say a word or two more about this mindfulness exercise. And first of all, if in your position you're feeling really, really uncomfortable and it gets painful, by all means move. No problem. Just move mindfully. Be aware that you're moving as opposed to moving without noticing, moving just to be comfortable. Notice your action. That's all. It's so simple. And also I want to point out that this is not about rigidly focusing on your breath. Mindfulness is very much like, I think of it like an accordion. You allow your attention to you determine, when you're formally practicing, you determine where you are going to focus. And then you notice when your attention has been taken by something else, and it may be thoughts, and it often is, or emotions, but it may be sounds or discomfort. So just noticing, and as I said, gently, gently, coming back when you can. The moment of mindfulness brings you back. So, having practiced a mindfulness practice, I would like to turn now to our course called MBSR, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction. Mindfulness-based stress reduction is widely understood to be the most powerful and effective way to have an introduction to mindfulness practice. There are many mindfulness courses, and I think MBSR can be said to be perhaps the most effective. Why is that? Well, first of all, let me tell you what MBSR is, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction. It's a course that's being taught now internationally. It's so successful. It's an 8-week class, and we run several of them here in the Mindfulness Center, several of them a year. It's an 8-week class. We meet once a week for 2.5 hours. And between classes 6 and 7, we have a day of mindfulness, which often freaks people out when they think of a whole day of mindfulness at the beginning. But once we get to it, once you're up at class 6 and 7, you're ready. And it is a beautiful day. It's a gift, most people find. Our MBSR courses, we keep them fairly small. And we do that on purpose. We do it because we want this, it needs to be an interactive course. And that is, we need the participation of you as students, the participants, your comments, your challenges as you are practicing with mindfulness week after week. The course adds on, it is incremental. So you learn new skills each week, and of course, there are challenges. So the participants are invited to share what their challenges are, and in that way, learning more how to practice mindfulness in their own circumstances. So what is really wonderful about the MBSR courses is that there can be a lot of individual instruction from the instructor. So it really makes a big difference. Now, a significant point with regard to MBSR is that it takes a lot of practice. It takes commitment. Sometimes people arrive in the class and they think, oh, well, I'm going to come to a class 8 weeks, 2.5 hours, and that's great, and I'll go out and I'll know how to be mindful. It's not so. You only can get from the course what you put in. As I said, it is a practice. And we ask and recommend, and this is true of all my MBSR courses, that the students practice 45 minutes a day. We have specific mindfulness practices. In fact, we give you CDs, or you can download it from online. We have specific practices. One of them, or actually 2 of them, are what we've done today. Taking mindfulness to the body, a body scan. We did this in short form, of course. And another one is mindfulness of breathing, and there are others. We provide you with guided meditations, because at the beginning there's no way you can do that on your own, but you'll have guided meditations to practice with. And as I said, 45 minutes a day. It's a considerable commitment. It's worth it. I can tell you that. Some of the comments by students about MBSR, for example, are, you've given me the gift of a lifetime, or this course has changed my life, or I don't need to be afraid anymore. Some really extraordinary comments. So MBSR offers these various, some tremendous benefits, but it also requires work. And as I said, MBSR is open to the whole community. It's not just for UVA students, faculty, and staff, although they are, of course, welcome and do participate. The courses are usually really rich because there are people there of a variety of ages, variety of walks of life. And so it is a pretty unique and wonderful environment to expand your awareness and to really learn the benefits, the beautiful benefits of mindfulness. So I hope that each of you will bring the wonderful practice of mindfulness, its joys, and the increased calmness into your own lives. Thank you for listening.